CASA. Hopefully you've heard of it, but you may not be aware of all the good work that they do. Hello and welcome to 18WJTS in.form. I'm your host, Bill Potter. Joining me in the studio is Deena Hubler. Deena is the Executive Director for CASA, which is the Court-Appointed Special Advocate. It's a kind of a sad subject that we talk about, but it's good work that your folks do, and you rely on volunteers and on some funding. First of all, what is a court-appointed special advocate?
A court-appointed special advocate is basically the eyes and ears for the judge. When a child becomes a part of the court system due to abuse or neglect, the judge makes decisions on their behalf. And when he has a CASA in place, he has someone that's going to visit the home and actually see where the child sleeps. He has someone who's visiting the teachers, and the teachers are a wealth of information for us on how that child is behaving and the struggles that they may be having or the successes that those children are having. And so they report all of this back to the judge, and that way the judge has more information, more accurate information, so he can make the best decision for that child.
And where do these advocates come from? How do you get them?
Well, advocates are just community volunteers who love children. They fill out an application on our website, then they do a personal interview with me, and then they go through 30 hours of training, which includes courtroom observation and shadowing a seasoned volunteer, and then we walk through them with them through their first case and support them throughout the life that they're with the program. But they're just community volunteers who want to make a difference in our community.
A very special person to do this sort of work.
It does take a special person because what we see is not easy. To see that a child has been abused or neglected, that they've been in a drug home, that someone has physically or sexually harmed them, that's not easy to do. But what we have to look at is, okay, now I'm here, how can I make the right thing happen next? And that's what we focus on. And not everybody's able to do that. They get too emotionally bogged down with the harm that has happened. And so it's not for everyone, but it is an excellent program for those who can do it.
Yeah, so you're blessed with many great advocates, but you need more advocates because it's unfortunate, but the need is there.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, the need just keeps continuing to grow at an increasing pace. So we will probably need to add 20 to 30 volunteers every year for the next few years.
Do you have a quick burnout? Do people, the advocates, is it tough for them to do it for more than 2 years? Or do you have people that have done it for years? Or is the answer yes to both of those?
Well, it is to a point yes to both of those. But we are very fortunate in Du Bois County that our CASAs have been with us 5, 7, I think we've had a couple with us for 8 years. And typically when they leave, it's because of something's changed in their life. You know, maybe their health situation's different or they move. We do have a few that take one case and say, this is just not for me. But that's why I try to, on the front end, weed them out. It's hard to say that,
Sure.
But we want people that this is a good fit so that it's a positive experience for not only the volunteer, but also the child that they're matched with. So not everybody who applies becomes a CASA. The vast majority do, but we want to make sure that it's a good match for them.
Deena, how can someone become an advocate?
To become an advocate, you go to our website, which is duboiscountycasa.org, and on there's an application button, and you click on that, and it takes you right to our application, and when you hit submit, it's automatically sent to me.
Okay. A lot of people are wondering, does this really happen in our community? Is there that much of a need? Are there that many kids that are abused or are living in drug homes or in homes that are not a good situation? Are there that many?
Unfortunately, yes, there are. We will have, the program will serve over 250 to 275 children a year.
Wow. And just in Du Bois County?
Just in Du Bois County. These are all children who are Du Bois County residents at the time of the event that caused them to go into the court system.
When does a CASA become involved? It's when the child goes to court, or when that family goes to court?
Yes.
I'm not sure if I'm asking the question the right way.
Right. Well, what happens is the Department of Child Services receives a report on someone, and they go and investigate. And they may find that the facts appear to be true or not true. So if they're not true, we're not involved at all. But once they find that those facts are true and the court needs to intervene, then the judge appoints the CASA to become the eyes and ears for him. So it's once that family does go to court and this child's case is in court, at that initial detention hearing, that's when we are appointed. Now, the actual advocate would be appointed a little bit after that. The staff goes to that very first hearing, and then we match up a volunteer with that and try to have that before the next hearing.
When we talk about a child, are we talking about a 2-year-old? Are we talking about a 6-month-old? Are we talking about an 18-year-old?
We're talking about all of them. They can be an infant that was removed while at the hospital, never went home from the hospital, or it could be an 18-year-old.
And the CASA then doesn't spend, it's not like 20 hours a week for 18 weeks. It's really just a couple of hours a week. Is that right?
We say it's usually 7 to 10 hours per month.
Per month, okay.
Per month. And some of this is flexible and some of it is not. Of course, when there are court hearings, we want the CASAs to be there to be that voice for the children. Now, if they absolutely can't be, their supervisor can step in for them. Their supervisor is always with them, regardless of whether they're there or not. We are always in court. And then there's child and family team meetings that they attend, and those times are kind of set. But when you visit the children and when you call the teacher or when you do other things like that, you can work that in your own schedule.
Okay, and you're helping the judge to see where this child is at, where this child is at in their life, whether they should stay with that family or not. Is that right?
Yes, that is. What we do, our recommendations are what should happen next. What would be in the child's best interest to happen next in this case? And sometimes that is reporting to the judge, you know, this child is doing well in school, they are doing well in placement, they should remain in this placement. It's rare, but once in a while we do recommend a change of placement because things are not going well. People just, they don't click, or there's just something wrong with that particular placement. And sometimes we identify needs that the children have. Maybe they need some individual therapy. You know, they're getting family therapy, but we see that one of the children needs individual therapy, or one of the children needs a tutor, or something like that. And then we also monitor the parents' compliances with what they're ordered to do. For example, they're ordered to take drug screens, to meet with the parent aide, possibly have a psych evaluation, things like that. So we kind of keep track of those and put in our court reports, those things are happening, the parents are doing great, and we should move to the next step, maybe go to less restrictive visitations, or we tell them, or tell the judge that we need to just kind of pause here for a little bit because things are not happening as they should.
So really, you're the representative for the child because the child is not going to be in court. And so you can say to the judge, hey, my life is not real good right now. I'm having these issues. Or things are going better because the things my parents are supposed to do are happening. So they are the voice for the child.
Exactly. And once in a while we get to be that true voice for the child in word for word what they've said. We had a situation where I was called to talk to a little kid, and he said he wanted his voice heard. He was tired of the situation he was in. He didn't want to go back to that situation because he lived it over and over. And every time his parent would say it's going to get better, he would go back, and it didn't. And he wanted his voice heard. Now, Judge Verkamp does allow children to come to the court when they want to speak to him. And so that happens. The CASA makes the judge aware of that. And then the child is brought to the court, and they are allowed to speak to the judge in his chambers with the CASA present.
So that is something that people can do to help kids. If you really want to help kids, some people can help monetarily, and you'll take donations, yes. But some people can be that person who does that.
Absolutely.
And you're looking for those.
Yes.
All the time.
All the time. We're always looking for more advocates, people who are willing to step up and be that voice for the child.
Can you be an advocate and say, look, I can handle one case a year? Is that okay? Or do you need okay.
Oh, yes. We start everybody out with one case. And some people, because of their situation, they're able to take more than one case. Mm-hmm. And then we assign them more than one case. But everyone starts with one, and there's never an expectation that you have to take more than one case at all. And a case can last 18 months, 2 years.
Okay.
If the parents do what they need to do and they learn and the children can go back, that's a shorter case, maybe 9, 10, 12 months. But a case where they don't and termination of rights needs to happen, that can easily last 2 years because we stick with the children until they are in that final placement. So that could be in their home, back with their parents, or that can also be with an adoptive family. And we go to that adoption hearing, and that's a good day too.
Really, this is for people that see situations or know of situations and just wish, man, I just wish I could step in and be part of that and help that child. This is the way to do that.
It is. And people need to understand that when you call the office and you ask questions or you get on the website and you complete that application, that is the first step in a process. That's the process for you to learn more about the program, for us to learn more about you, and to see if that's a good fit. So we've had some people that have come to one class and then they say, I'm sorry, this isn't the fit for me. And that's okay, because they've learned more about the program and the process, and they know about that now, they can share that, but we don't want someone going forward who is uncomfortable with it.
Okay, so if you're wondering, don't wonder, just make a phone call.
Exactly.
Right? All you got to do is call CASA, and your information would be on your website.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Now, quickly, because we're almost out of time, but you're going to be getting funds through the 100 Men Who Cook in the year of 2018, but you don't sell candy bars or T-shirts or do things like that. How can people help with cash?
There's a couple of different ways to donate. You can donate directly to the program, and then that goes and we use it immediately, or put that into our fund. And then another way to contribute to CASA is to donate to our endowment through the Du Bois County Foundation.
Okay, excellent. Deena, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I hope you get some volunteers. All you got to do is go to their website or call Deena. She'll be glad to talk to you, or even have one of your current CASAs talk to somebody.
Yes.
And now when you hear the word CASA, you will know what it means. It is a court-appointed special advocate, which may sound a little confusing, but basically you are representing the child in court after something has happened.
Yes.
Deena, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching WJTS in.form. We're local people watching local people.